Good morning, students. Today's topic is station yards and their types. What's meant by a yard? A yard is defined as a system of tracks for receiving, storing, sorting, maintaining, and joining engines and carriages. Okay. The various movements on this system of tracks are usually governed by prescribed rules, regulations, and signals. So, based on some prescribed rules, regulations, and signals, the vehicles will be received, sorted, stored, etc. Yard is defined as a system of tracks laid within a definite limits for various purposes such as receiving, sorting, and dispatch of vehicles. So, next we can look through the types of yards. So, based on the function, the yards are classified into passenger yards, goods yards, marshalling yards, and locomotive yards. We can discuss one by one. First one is passenger yards. So the function of passenger yard is to provide all the facilities for the safe movement of passengers. Okay, so in order to have a safe movement of passengers, we are providing passenger yards. So the main function of passenger bogie yard is to provide facilities for the safe movement of passengers and vehicles for the use of passengers. And this yard is specific importance at terminal stations or junctions. That is, at terminal stations and junctions, extra passenger bogies are accommodated, and cleaning and washing, storing extra is done. So, at these terminal stations and junctions, it is very important, passenger bogie yards. And the facilities which is provided in passenger yards are there will be booking office, enquiry office, luggage booking room, clock room, and waiting room for passengers, etc. And there will be parking space for vehicles, then signals for reception and dispatch of trains, platforms and sidings for shunting facilities, facilities for changing batteries, facilities for passing through train, then washing lines, sick lines for facilities. So these are the facilities which is provided in passenger yards. So this is a passenger yard. Next is goods yard. So the main function of a goods yard is to provide facilities for receiving, loading and unloading, then delivery of goods and movement of goods vehicle. So that is the function of goods yard. That is, these are provided for receiving, loading and unloading of goods. That is the main function of goods yard. And all the stations will be provided with this goods yard except flag stations. That is, in previous lecture we have discussed that at flag stations the trains will not be stopped. So except this flag station, all the stations will be provided with the goods yard. Okay. And in goods yard there will be goods shed and goods platform. Loading and unloading is done on goods platform, and storing is done in goods shed. Okay. So in addition that there will be separate goods sidings will be provided in order to store and deliver goods. Okay. So this is known as goods yard. It's a figure showing goods yard. Next is marshalling yard. So marshalling yard is the place where goods wagons are received from different centers and are sorted out and placed in order to detach at different stations. Okay, so in marshalling yard, loaded and empty goods wagons are first received from different lines for booking in different directions, and then these wagons are separated, sorted and dispatched in full trains for each line. Okay, so from this marshalling yard the trains are directed into different directions. Okay, so marshalling yard is one where trains and other loads are received, sorted out and new trains is formed and dispatched onwards to their destination. So this marshalling yards are the distribution centers, and also empty wagons are kept in marshalling yards. So this is the cross section showing marshalling yards. And next is the types of marshalling yards. These marshalling yards are classified into three types. They are flat yards, gravity yards and hump yards. So in this type of flat yards, the entire space of the yard is almost level, and all the sorting work or movement of wagons are carried out by using engines which is running to and fro. Okay, and this arrangement is costly due to more consumption of power in the use of engines. That is, for movement we are using engines, so this arrangement will be costly. But this type of yard is justified where the available space is limited for the layout of marshalling yards. Okay. So this is first type of yards, that is flat yards, first type of marshalling yard. Then second type is gravity yard. So in this type of yard, the tracks are laid at such a gradient that wagons can move of their own under the action of gravity. So by using this force of gravity, it can be moved by its own weight. And this movement of wagons are controlled by wagon brakes manually, and the movements of wagons are carried out by the action of gravity, which is accompanied by the engine power. Okay, so this it requires certain slope for the formation and is controlled by manual wagon brakes, and this type of yard require more area. Okay, so that is known as gravity yard. So in this type of marshalling yard, it will not be level. Next is hump yard. So it has constructed a hill over which freight cars are shot by yard locomotive, and then their gravity is used for propel cars to various sorting tracks. That is, in this type of yards, artificial hills are provided and wagons are pushed, and these wagons are pushed upon a hump by the engines, and this hump is located at entrance to the sidings, and the wagons are allowed to move into the sidings down the hump under the action of gravity. So this is also a type of gravity yard, and this requires more area. This we are constructing an artificial hill and wagons are pushed upon the hump by using engines. So that is the type of hump yard. So these are the different types of marshalling yard, that they are flat yard, gravitation yard and hump yard. And last type of yard is locomotive yard, and this is the yard which houses the locomotive. That is, there will be facilities for watering, fueling, examining locomotives, repairing. And this yard is designed depending upon the number of locomotive required to the housed in the locomotive shed. That is, based on the number of vehicle which is to be parked in the shed, we are constructing the locomotive yard. Okay, so these are the different types of station yards. They are passenger bogie yard, then goods yard, marshalling yard and locomotive yard. And the marshalling yard is again classified into flat yard, then gravity yard and hump yard. Okay, thank you.